So osmosis is a type of diffusion. Essentially, it's the diffusion of water particles across a partially permeable membrane. So let's have a look at how that works. So over here, we have what we call a dilute solution. Okay, so on the left-hand side, it's called a dilute solution. And the reason for that is you have a very high concentration of water. So this blue over here is water particles or molecules, and the green is basically some other kind of particle. Okay, so it can be anything. We'll just call it a foreign particle, a foreign molecule. So you can see here you have a really high concentration of water in your total solution. So this whole thing is a solution. You can see you have loads of water molecules compared to the foreign molecules, and therefore the concentration of the water is high, and we say that's a dilute solution. Okay, in contrast, on the right hand side we have what we call a concentrated solution, and the concentrated solution here is not really referring to the water, because the water is actually in low concentration, but the foreign particles are in a very high concentration. Okay, so here we have high concentration of the foreign particles and a low concentration of the water. But generally, when we talk about concentrations, we talk about concentration of these foreign particles, whatever it might be. We don't talk about the concentration in terms of the water. If you have a high concentration of water, we call that a dilute solution. But the same concepts of diffusion occurs. What happens is you go from an area of high concentration, or in this case a dilute solution, to an area of low concentration, or in this case the concentrated solution, because the water particles, because there's loads of them over here, they're transport, you have the net movement again across the partially permeable membrane into the area of low concentration of water, if you like, or the concentrated solution. Okay, it's exactly the same thing as diffusion. Basically, the one addition that you might want to know is over here you have what we call the partially permeable membrane, and this is quite important because water molecules are quite big, so they need a partially permeable membrane, and I've messed up permeable, to allow for the water to flow through, whereas the foreign particles are essentially too big, they're not able to travel through. Okay, so there's no travel of the foreign particles, it's only the water particles or the water molecules that can transport across the partially permeable membrane, and that's why we're interested in the movement of the water, and we have a specific name for it, and we call that osmosis. Okay, so let's do a quick question to recap. So a quick couple of questions, feel free to pause the video and have a go. So question 1, a dilute solution is what? Is it something which has a high concentration of solute, has a low concentration of water, or has a high concentration of water? Well, a dilute solution has a high concentration of water, it actually has a low concentration of the solute. That's the thing that's dissolved in the water, the foreign particles we were talking about earlier. Question 2, what is the importance of a partially permeable membrane in osmosis? Well, the importance is the fact that water needs to be able to travel across the membrane. And so it needs to allow for the water particles to flow across that membrane, and if it's not partially permeable, then the water won't be able to move and you will get no osmosis. Okay, and the idea is that because the solute particles are too big, they won't be able to transport across the membrane either, so you wouldn't get any diffusion or osmosis. So that's it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.